What's up guys, Brandon here from Gearist. Now, if you've been paying attention to our channel, and you should be, so subscribe now please, then you have seen our recent series that we have started called Gearist Questions, where we ask you a question. So, what do you think we're going to do with that information once we have it? Is that we want to let everybody know what your answers are, so we're going to talk about your answers right now here on Gearist Questions and Answers. If you want to hear your answers to our questions being read out on this series, be sure to subscribe to our channel and then comment down in this video or any of the other videos. We've got another question coming tomorrow, so definitely be sure to check that out. And the only way that you can really stay on top of that is to subscribe to our channel and share it with your friends, because you never know what your friends are going to say to these questions as well, and we want to hear. So without any further ado, let's get into some of your answers to the most recent question, which was, if you had only 3 hours, just 3 hours, what would you do? You have to do an adventure. You can't I'd sit on my ass for 3 hours, I'd take a 3-hour nap. It's not like that. You gotta go outside, you gotta do something. What would you do in that 3 hours if you had 3 hours? So, the first answer is from Richard Holdcraft, who says, I'd tune up my bicycle. Good idea, and this is a good time of year for that. We're getting into that summer riding season. If you rode at all during the winter, the colder months, you may have a bunch of salt and sand and crap in the gears of your bike. And so now is a good chance to get in there and really get that stuff out. We're going to be working on a bike cleaning episode of Ask Gearist coming up here very, very soon, so definitely stay tuned for that. And yet again, another reason to subscribe. Number 2, David Van Tongren says, brick workout now, dreaming of quality R&R and a hammock later. If you don't know what a brick workout is, that is a triathlon thing. It's where you do a bike followed by a run. I hear you, David, especially that hammock part. That sounds awesome. Next up is Michael Lears, who said, I would go for a road bike ride to ... wherever the road takes me. I love it. I love getting out and just exploring and finding new things and letting yourself get lost, within reason, of course. And that is an amazing way to spend that 3 hours. Robert Goodnow says, plan an awesome run on gravel roads, trying to squeeze the most vertical gain out of our local routes, while at the same time avoiding the free roaming farm dogs. Good luck with that. Take a bike kit with you. Make sure you're up to date on your own vaccinations. Next up, Isaac Gallego says, 3 hours of playtime? Let's see. I would most likely drive to Immigration Canyon and have a long run with all types of trail terrain. I've only hiked a few miles with my wife and kids. I really want to adventure past that point. This is something that's actually going to come up a little bit more in one of our other answers down the road, but when you've got kids, especially young kids, baby Gearist, Sydney, as you guys have seen her on our series here before, then she's about 6 years old. She is 6 years old. So going on longer hikes with her is a little tricky, and she's just getting onto a bike with no training wheels, so she can't exactly go on single track or anything like that, since it's a princess bike with little hearts on the wheels, on the tires. So going on further adventures with your kids is really tricky, so it's a good idea to get out there and really push yourself past those limits, and then your kids will kind of use that. You can use it as impetus to say, hey, daddy did this thing, daddy went over here, and try to get them to reach outside of their comfort zone. Really great way to go. Adam Stevens says, awesome question, looking forward to reading the other answers or hearing them on this episode of Gearist Questions and Answers. I would cycle to a local conservation area, run trails for a few hours, cycle home, maybe stop at a playground and do some calisthenics. Perfect afternoon for me. And then he goes on to say, I would also wish for a longer adventure than 3 hours. Clearly, because if you can fit all that stuff in 3 hours, good on you. Next up, James Thatch says, 2 things happen fast. If it's dry, I hit the local boulders and get in a short, hard session. If not, it's a trail run, and the more hills, the better. Love that, man. Roxic12 says, I'm going riding on my bike. I feel like I should cue up that I want to ride my bicycle, but I'm not going to, so moving on. Maurizio Ariaza says, definitely a long run followed by a swim in the pool. Chris Milton says, I would do a brick workout, ride to my local trail, then run for a bit, heading up to my closest ski mountain, then back down to local watering hole to get my swim on and ride home. Man, fitting, again, you guys are optimistic about these 3 hours. I love it. Chris Brown says, watch Gearist videos, of course. That's a great answer. Great question, answer of the day. Chris Brown, good job, man. Well done. Okay, really, I would be running trails is what he follows that up with. I'm going to screw up this next name, so I apologize, so bear with me. Srinidhi Aital says, probably play tennis for a while and then go for a run, or mix and match the whole thing. well, if you play with somebody who's a lot better than you, you'll probably be doing a lot of running on the tennis court anyway, so it's a win-win. Kim Espat says, trail run in the hills nearest me, love it. Grind Palm says, trail run and end up with a lake swim. I always had this dream to do a trail run out to a lake or a pond or something, jump in and go swimming, then get out and run back. The trouble is, then I'm all wet, and if you don't want to get all wet, you kind of got to get naked, and then you're naked and in the woods, and that's a potential for a ticket depending on where you are. Just saying. Anthony Munelli says, walk in the Peak District National Park. Plenty of variety, rocky moorland to footpaths through pastures and woods. That sounds so amazing. I had a run a while ago in Gloucestershire in England, and it was just absolutely amazing. So I love getting out in that kind of just rolling farmland and things like that. It's amazing. High Coast Runner says, I'd go for a trail run up in the mountains. Sounds good. Doc Bad 32 says, trail running in the mountains. This seems to be a theme coming up. Matthew Garrity says, perfect time to explore some new bike routes. Once again, getting out there and exploring and finding new things, letting yourself get lost. It's so good. Aaron or Aaron Garrod says, check the waves. If it's good, I surf. If it's flat, which is most of the time because I live on the East Coast, then I hit the trails behind my house. I can get in about 15 to 20 miles on some flat, fun, single track and be home within the 3-hour mark. If the weather is bobo or if I'm sore, then I will spend the 3 hours researching race, trails, or gear for upcoming adventures. And if I get frustrated, then I go to YouTube and watch gear reviews, Gearist, trail videos, Gearist, or vlogs, Gearist, it's in my throat, or vlogs to find motivation. Our Evie says, I can't even play your game. My wife and 3-year-old only allow me 2 hours away from the gulag. The gulag? Lord, that's severe. But for those 2 hours I burn up the trails with my Hokas and Topos. Well, maybe not burn up, but kick up a little bit of dust. I love that. Xavier Arcarazo says, I would hit the trails. Love it. And the Dimpled Runner. By the way, Dimpled Runner, Google her, search for her on Instagram, search for her on YouTube, The Dimpled Runner. Check out her channel. She's going from being a mom, being pregnant and having a baby, into getting her body back in shape by running. It's really awesome. Check out her videos and her Instagram. Just search for her. You can just do that right on YouTube or just Google it. She says, 3 hours? I would go on a long run on a beautiful and technical trail. Love it. Ingo, I'm going to mess this name up too, so I apologize. Ingo Wende says, not a lot of time, actually. I know, that's what makes it challenging. Quick 10-13 mile trail run from doorstep with roughly 3,000 feet of vert, carrying 1.5 to 2.5 liters minimum. Bring some nuts, head out the door. Awesome. Man, that is specific. I love it. 88 Fred McFred said, HK is awesome. I assume he means Hong Kong, maybe? 3 hours. The world is my oysters. There are many trails to run and get home within 3 hours. Excellent. Adam Marshall says, explore some single track in the forest. Dream of living somewhere near some mountains while doing so. Come on, man. We got room. Bring it, dude. Bring it. And finally, Philip Shelley says, if I had only 3 hours, I would go for a long run on the trails. I love it. These are such great answers, you guys. Please keep answering. And again, share this with your friends. We want to engage our community. We want everybody out there, no matter what kind of adventure you're into. Even if your adventure was, I'm going to go sit on the bike trainer for 3 hours, which would, God, that would suck. But if that's your thing, fine. We want to hear what you guys are doing, how you're taking the gear that we talk about in our gear reviews and actually beating the hell out of it out there on the trails, on the mountains, on the whatever. Taking it, putting it to its use. We love hearing about that. So once again, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you can be in the know for when the next Gearist questions come up. And if you do leave an answer, be sure to subscribe so that you can hear when we give your answers in Gearist Questions and Answers. Thank you guys so much. Once again, please don't forget to hashtag all your stuff. Hashtag I'm a Gearist. I am a Gearist. Visit Gearist.com and all that stuff on social. Thank you guys so much, and we will see you next time.